With the cold weather and the holidays approaching, many families are going to be hosting guests this winter. But there are some guests you do not want to host, and those, of course, are mice. You want to keep them out of your house. And this time of year, as the weather's turning colder and colder, mice are looking for a nice, cozy place to spend the winter. So what I did is I went around the whole exterior of this house looking for any place that mice could get in. Any little crack or opening in the siding, any holes through where maybe a cable is coming through. And you might be surprised to learn, as I was, that a mouse can get through a hole as small as a dime. Is that unbelievable? An adult mouse can get through a hole this small. And if you have one mouse, you're going to have at least two mice, right? You never have one mouse. And if you have two mice, that means you're going to have lots of baby mice. And a young mouse can get through a hole as small as a pencil. So it doesn't take much, so you have to look really carefully when you go around the house. Now in this case, I found two places where mice are getting into the house. One alongside this garage door where there's a crack big enough for the mice just to be parading in and out all winter. Then in the backyard, there's an entry door. And I inspected the door and I knew mice were getting in there, but I couldn't figure it out because the door was properly sealed and the door looked pretty solid, but they actually chewed a hole through the jamb, through the bottom of the wooden jamb, which I'd never seen before. But in any case, in this video, we're going to show how to seal up both places, starting with the garage door. Okay, so now you can see what the issue is with this garage door. Look at the size of that gap. Plenty big enough for a mouse to get through there. So I went online and I bought these garage door seals. It's basically 4 pieces of aluminum bent at a right angle. And the idea is you just screw it to the jamb close to the door itself. In this case, you can see we have a pretty tall gap, so I'll probably have to install 2 of these. The kit comes with 4, so you can put 2 on that side, 2 on this side. If you only need 1, you do 1 on either side. And so you just screw it in place, and the mice can't chew through that. But in this particular case, we have an issue that there's this piece of aluminum trim that's preventing me from just screwing this right to the jamb. Right? It's all like wonky. I didn't want to remove the entire piece of trim, so I'm going to use my favorite power tool, my oscillating multi-tool, and I'm going to cut a slot behind this. All right, so I'm going to cut a slot all the way down through the back of this piece of trim. Then I'm going to take this and slip it in behind it. This way it'll sit nice and flat against the jamb and it won't be an issue. So first step, let's cut the back of that and create a slot. Now do you see why I love this tool? How else would you do that? Right, so there you go. So now I have to go and open up the garage door just so I can slip these pieces behind that trim. I'll be right back. Okay, so now with this cut in the back, again, I just cut through the back edge of that. I can slip these into place. One's gonna go there, and it's gonna go on top, again, because we have a pretty tall gap. So they're gonna go there, all right? I'll be right back. I'll go close the door again, and then we'll attach those. All right, now, so there they are in place, but you don't want them tight against the door because when the door comes down, I'd be concerned the door might hit the top of these and then bend them all over. So you just need something thin. I'm using a piece of cardboard, it's less than 1/8 of an inch, just to slip in behind here, something like that. There you go. And then I'm going to screw through this bottom part of the flange. Have a couple of short pan head sheet metal screws. Gonna run them right in there. Again, this is a sheet metal screw, goes right through that aluminum. Beautiful. Again, I'll open up the door and I'll just bend these in a little bit. But once that's in place, you can paint this to, blend in a little better, paint both sides, prime it and paint it. But with that in place and relatively tight against the door, you won't have any trouble with the mice trying to chew through that. And of course, as I said, we'll put 2 more of these on the other side. And then after we're done here, we'll go in the back and we'll seal up that entry door. Okay, so now we're around back. We have a walkout basement with this entry door, and mice have been coming through here. And when I inspected the door, I couldn't quite figure out how they were getting into the house. The door itself is nice and solid. It's sealed perfectly down here. The sill is in really good shape. There's no space under the sill. But then I did notice they cut the sill way short. It's like almost 2 inches short. I'm not sure why, but it's cut short. And what they created, and this is a piece of aluminum trim, if I pop that out, they created a little entrance ramp for the mice. They've just been flowing right through there. And I noticed this is the wooden jamb, which is the frame of the door. You can see they chewed right through it. I took a screwdriver earlier and was just poking around. The wood's pretty solid, so it's not rot. It was just mice just chewed through there. And you see how deep it went in, pretty deep. And then I took this wire because I wasn't sure how deep it was, how deep they went in, and you can see it goes all the way through. Now, what is that, like 20 inches of wire clean through. So we found where the mice were coming in, so what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to plug up that hole. And what I've seen a lot of people do is they take that expanding foam sealant, it comes in a spray can, and they spray it in there and it expands and it seals the hole. But the mice chew right through it. It's just foam. Even though it feels hard, the mice chew right through it. So the manufacturers of spray foam, in this particular case, Great Stuff, came up with Pest Block. It's expanding spray foam, but it contains capsaicin. And capsaicin is the ingredient that makes hot peppers hot. So the idea is you fill the hole with this, and the mice start to chew through it, and they get that hot taste, and they go to your neighbor's house. I don't know what they do, but they don't continue chewing through into your house. But I thought I'd add a little extra measure of safety by adding a barrier. It's basically like steel wool. You can use a stainless steel pad as well. It's like Brillo, but it's stainless steel, not iron, not regular steel wool, because that'll rust out. And what you do is you cut a piece of this, you jam it in the hole first, then you spray into foam. And in that case, you have two defenses, right? So if they start to chew through the foam, even though it's hot, if they continue to chew through, they'll hit this and that'll stop them. That's about the best you can do. If that fails, then it's time to replace the whole door, but we don't want to do that. So let's start with this first. I'll get a pair of scissors and just cut a little piece. And I'll jam it in there, use my slotted screwdriver, and we'll see how much we can get in there. In case you get a mouse that likes spicy food, we'll stop them with this. There you go, how's that? Pretty good, right? All right, now, I'm gonna shake this up, spray a little bit. Now this expands quite a bit, so you don't wanna fill it completely on the first shot. I would say fill it about halfway. In this case, if it bubbles out and it comes, we're not ever gonna see it. This is gonna hide it. If it comes out where it's an issue at your house, wait till it's completely hardened and just trim it off with a razor knife. In fact, what I recommend is using one of those razor knives with the snap-off blades. I think I got one in here. Use one of these, because what you can do is you can extend that. Most utility knives only have a short blade, right? But with this, you can extend it out and lock it in place, and you can get behind there and slice it all off. So that's another tip if you're going to be trimming off that foam. But okay, so we have that in place. You can see the holes plugged up, and now we're going to fill it with this Pest Block. Here it comes. Oh, and by the way, as you're adding this, and this will, like I said, it'll expand and harden eventually. Go inside and check, because what you might find is it'll expand and come out the other side, of course, which would be good. I mean, this will show that it's completely filled. And if it doesn't expand and come out on the inside, what I'd recommend is go inside, wait till this hardens, but go inside, and if you see any holes, fill it up. Again, an added safety to keep those mice out of your house. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by liking and subscribing. And I'd like to send a special shout out to our growing list of subscribers. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you.